Tired of the same old radio talk show? There is an alternative. This is GONZO Radio.
Now, of course, my guest is going to recognize the opening theme music for the Gonzo Radio Show because it's one of his bands, and it was. I have permission. I have permission from the producer. I have permission from the label to use that music. So
let's rock.
Yeah, Neolithic. Yeah, most definitely.
All right.
But across from me, who is doing yeoman work. He is sucking it up. He is coming off the injured list, and he is here with us tonight, and it's Mr. Gerry Baumann. Gerry, thank you so much for being here. I mean, South Florida legend, music producer. I know you're a music producer because I stole some of your music, and you are. I hesitate to use the word godfather, but you are one of the godfathers of strip club DJs in South Florida, strip club MCs. And I mean, not just strictly, hey fellas, here comes so-and-so. You're a man who has put on a show. Your tenure with the Cheetah is legendary. Okay, I mean, if I go to Las Vegas and I talk to people like, oh, I know that guy. I go to New York, oh, I know that guy. But I'm going to shut up and let you talk. So say hi to the nice people, Mr. Gerry Baumann.
Hi to the nice people, and thank you, Gonzo, for having me on your show.
Well, no, thank you for being here. You know what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to reach over here while the camera's on your bright, smiling face. I don't know, whistle a song or something. Because now I have better light. Yes.
Such is. There is light.
Yeah, being the sole producer of the show, and being the guy running around there, and then of course your engineer, your producer, or would you say he's your engineer? Cut,
brilliant.
Your engineer.
Yeah,
he's brilliant, and he gave me the music 6 minutes ago.
Yeah,
which is great. I mean, we asked a miracle of him, and he almost pulled it off. I mean, it could have been 5 minutes earlier, but the man was busy anyways. But thank you, Cut. You were awesome.
No doubt.
No doubt about it. I mean, I was dead in the water. I was dead. I was like, what kind of song?
Well, that's because I brought you Mac, and it wouldn't work with the PC.
You and you fancy Mac people. You fancy Mac DJs.
Yeah, I'll know better in the future.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I know you don't necessarily tune into the Panda page on Facebook very often. I'm sure you drop in and take a look and see what's going on. But have you ever gotten a load of the Mac versus PC fight?
No.
I have seen it's like two rat terriers. Actually, it's like 20 rat terriers going round and around and around and around. It's cartoonish because it's a big ball of smoke, and there's fists and stars and knives and stuff coming out of the ball of smoke, and it's just all Mac PC, and you Mac users seem to have jokes. you got jokes. Would you like to tell us a PC joke?
I don't know a PC joke. Is there some kind of superiority complex there?
There is a superiority complex. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you look at that. Look at that smug look. Like, yeah.
I don't know enough about computers to be smug about it, to tell you the truth.
You just know that your Apple stuff never breaks down, never gets viruses, never crashes.
It works well.
It works well.
And that's what I need.
Oh, stop trying to be modest about it.
There's other things in the world
smug.
I'm thinking about besides Mac computers.
Oh, there's a lot going on in the world.
What's cooking? What do you want to talk about tonight?
Oh, I can roll.
Let's do it.
We're going to do the seven deadly questions later.
Okay.
Later in the second segment, we're going to do that. We're also going to get into some of your projects. Project-wise, to accentuate, like the Cannibal Kids. I mean, Cannibal Kids, from what I've heard with Cannibal Kids is pretty fantastic. I mean, Neolithic was fantastic in their style of rock, but from what I'm hearing, Cannibal Kids, that's some good stuff. That's some power punk. That's some melodies. That's some energy, and we'll be hearing that on what's the name of the song that we're going to be hearing?
Save Me the Time.
Save Me the Time. And that's going to be our bed song for the break.
Terrific.
We're going to come out with that, and it was fantastic. I'm listening to it. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that one.
It's good.
Yeah, well, yeah. You were just glad I liked it.
I'm glad.
Like
Hopefully,
I
a
had
lot
a
of people
choice.
are going to like it.
Like I had a choice. I'm a good producer. I'm a good host. I'll just, what is it you want? Okay, sure, I'll do
Listen,
that.
I don't want you to have to agree with me on anything. If you think it doesn't sound good, listen, great radio is not you and me agreeing on everything.
Yeah, well, we're not trying to do great radio. We're just trying to do a video show and have fun.
Okay, well, we can do
I'm like
that.
a crazy person, right?
As
Like,
many years I've known you, yes, you are a crazy man.
It's like, oh, Jesus.
It's a good thing.
I'm in an enclosed room with a nut job. Great. But it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to actually get to the break and go ahead and play it. But there is a lot going on in the world. I mean, we can talk about sports because you are a sports expert. You are a sports aficionado, especially with football and baseball.
Love them both.
Love them both. And we just had a young man, a pitcher, suddenly pass away with the California Angels, with the Anaheim Angels, excuse me.
Just terrible.
The L.A. Angels.
27 years old, Tyler Skaggs.
Yeah, I just saw that kid pitch like last month on like the featured game on Sports Center. It was like L.A. versus. I want to say LA versus Oakland. It was like 11 o'clock at night. Of course, you get to watch West Coast baseball through one eye. It's like 12 o'clock, and there's baseball happening, which is great. I got to see him pitch back then. I was like, well, this kid's pretty good. And all of a sudden, bam,
Gone.
like that.
Gone.
I mean,
Yeah.
and they still haven't come up with a cause of death.
Yeah, it's a shame, and condolences, obviously, to his family.
Yeah,
27 years old and gone. But for me, it's not too late to watch a game from the West Coast, and I do get the MLB package.
Right.
I love watching games till 3 or 4 in the morning, and as you know, I work till 6 in the morning. So for me, I don't get to sleep until about 8:30 in the morning.
Oh, so that's recreational for you, though.
It
So
is. It's great.
It fits
man.
your schedule.
It does fit my schedule.
Yeah. Now you are over at Vixens.
I am.
And I hear you guys are going gangbusters a little bit there. You really
Well, Saturday night we had our 4-year anniversary. It was packed to the gills, and people had a great time. I enjoy working at Vixens.
I really enjoy. It's not. And listen, it's not false humility, everybody. Okay, when it comes to a guy like me, I'm 24 years in the business, and GB, you're how long you're in the business now?
I would say since 1980.
Since 1980.
John Lennon was still writing songs.
He was still alive.
John Lennon, yep.
Since 1980.
Muhammad Ali was still boxing.
So you're working on 39 years.
Yeah, next May will be 40 years.
Next May is 40 years.
Unbelievable.
So
it really is.
This is the youngest I've felt in years right now. But listen, what's disgusting to me is you don't look 104. You look good for 104. Okay, I mean
102.
Yeah, well, and that comes from working at night and working inside and staying out of the sun for a long period of time.
Perhaps, and also working with beautiful young ladies, which has always been a great source of enjoyment for me. I get to play music. Music is the elixir of life. I can't even think of. The other day I was thinking about my mortality, and the worst thing about it, of leaving this planet, would be not being able to listen to music. I think that would be the worst. And hopefully, if there isn't a life thereafter, there's a place where I can press play and hear my favorite songs.
So heaven without music isn't really heaven.
Well put.
It may be a nice neighborhood, but there's no music.
I can't even imagine what life would be like after, if they told you that there's no music in heaven. It's
there's supposed to be harp music, though, right? There's like seraphim and angels playing harps and.
No thanks.
No harp music.
No. Like today, my new. I love listening to the new Allman Betts band song "Autumn Breeze."
Little second generation action going on there.
The Progeny, yes, absolutely. I saw them recently play at Parker Playhouse, and the show was superb. And they're going to be, I can't recommend it enough, they're going to be at, I guess there's this new place in Pembroke Pines. And we've already got our tickets for it. It's in October. I can't recommend it enough. I used to fly up to the Beacon to see the Allman Brothers do their residency. They do 3 weeks every year, and obviously they don't do that now.
I was only joking about you being 104, but okay.
Well, let me tell you, the Allman Brothers at the Beacon, it was... that was greatness. Greg Allman was greatness.
I'd have gone with
Dickie
you if
Betts,
you'd let me
greatness.
go. I'd have gone with you if you'd let me go.
Well, we've got shows in the future together, so I recommend it. The new song "Autumn Breeze." Check it out, folks. If you love great guitar playing, Dickie Betts' Kid is amazing. It's my favorite guitar solo of the year.
Wow. Well, write that down, kids. Okay? That's Autumn Breeze.
Well, listen, Autumn
Breeze.
Breeze. When you are playing a lot of electronic dance music, which it's a whole different world. So when I get into the car and hit Spotify, I could be listening to either Miles Davis or Elton John, or which I enjoyed the movie that came out about it. I thought the guy did a great job doing Elton. And, it's one thing I do for a living and the other I do for enjoyment. Although I do enjoy my job, but obviously when the club opened up, it was all rock and roll. And
Right.
that was great. And I think if they would have put some more into that, I think it would have worked. But we are where we are. We are where we are right now, and that's life in the big city. But I do miss playing rock and roll as much as I used to.
Yeah, well, and I bet a certain entertainer named Autumn, I'm sure she misses you playing rock and roll as well. I mean,
Autumn
that is
just
the
loves
ultimate rock chick in South Florida.
She just loves the rock and roll. As a matter of fact, I saw her post something, and off of her picture, I put together a Johnny and Edgar Winter with Rick Derringer CD that I'm sure she's just loving.
She's probably playing it to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's good like that. Hi, Autumn, just in case
Hi,
you happen to be
Autumn.
watching. Hi. Well, she follows me on Facebook, so she definitely would know that you're here.
She
would
loves
know.
rock and roll.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure there's a ton of people. I'm kind of curious to check the old feed, because we were seeing the reaction today for the promos. With just a picture of you, your profile picture, you trying to look serious, which was borderline hilarious, I got to say. Let's see, what do we got here?
Well, I know that
we are live. Okay,
our good old friend Bob Hoffman.
yes, Bob's there. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Bob wanted to know what I felt about Derek Jeter and the Marlins. And Bob, you might be surprised, but quite frankly, I think they're fun to watch. I think they'll get some good draft picks, obviously, because their record won't be as strong as the Yankees or the Astros for a while. But I like watching them. I like Garrett Cooper. I like the kid they have in center field, Ramirez.
Hey, if the Yankees want to send any more players that they don't want, I mean, Cooper has been outstanding.
Terrific.
Outstanding.
Terrific. As a matter of fact,
if Frazier wants to come play for us, I'd love to have him. They sent him down to AAA, for crying out loud.
I'll take Frazier.
All day.
He's fun to watch in the outfield, but I believe yesterday watching the Marlins, they said the announcer said that Cooper was the best hitter in baseball with 2 strikes. That's impressive.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I mean, we're gonna go on a sports jag here. I have to tell you that I attended that game. Mm-hmm. Which would probably be Chen's 5th or 6th meltdown that cost us a game. I got my money's worth. Mm-hmm. We were about 12, 13 rows up on the third base line, about 20, 30 feet beyond the third base play. But I know I could be heard because I had people down front turning around and looking, because I let him have it. I said, "You are a thief. You are stealing a paycheck. I can pitch better than that. Okay? My mother doesn't like you, and my mother likes everybody, including me, and I'm a jerk." Oh, yeah, I had him dying. And the thing I was most proud of is that I didn't curse. Not one time. I didn't drop any curse words. I didn't drop any F-bombs in front of any kids, which, I mean, I know people listening right now are like, "Oh, I bet I hear Gonzo going, motherfucking, fuck. No. I was real good. I had him dying. But I got my money's worth. Chen has to go. If I were Jeter, I would have just gone down there and handed him his car keys to just get the fuck out of my building.
Understood, but he's there for eating up innings, and their time's going to come. They know they're not going to be a contender, even though Jeter says he surprises me because
he's tired of losing.
Well, but he also says he expects this team to win. And when you're going up against teams that are spending millions more, I get a kick out of it. But I'm okay with they're fun to watch. I like watching the Marlins. They're going to be a lot more fun than I think the Dolphins, your team, is going to be.
Why has it got to be my team? Why?
Well, because they are your team. Everybody knows you're a big Dolphins fan. And hopefully they'll surprise us. I hope that the Josh Rosen trade works out for us. Because we could use
Florida
a
needs
break.
a nice Jewish boy for a quarterback.
We'll take him.
We'll take him.
We'll take him. I'm looking forward to the football season. I get to hook up with old friends. We do an annual jaunt every year to a.
What's this year's stadium?
This year we're going to Pittsburgh because I've been harping on the guys. A quick back around.
Go to
on
Heinz
this.
Field, yeah.
We're going to go to Heinz Field. I played football in high school on the best team in the state of Iowa. And a few of the guys, every year we pick a city. As a matter of fact, last year we were in San Francisco. And Binger, if you're out there, I hope you win the DJ of the Year award.
Well, this might be the only time that he actually watches the show because he claimed profound respect and love for you. So, hi, Binger. Hey, finally I'll get him to watch the show.
Well, Binger, Tim Rhodes, and Jay Crowley, it was a great combination of guys from my DJ life. Every year before the football game, the football guys and we always get to the best steakhouse in town the night before. And this year, I asked them if it would be cool if I could invite my friends. And I had to ask each and every one of them individually because we are like our own little secret society, so to speak, and it's just the four of us. So to let people in, well, fast forward to the get-together. My guys from Iowa had such a great time with the DJs, and some great DJs too. As far as I'm concerned, Timmy Rhodes is about as good as it gets. And Jay won DJ of the Year a couple years back, and I hope
deservedly
Banger wins this year.
Listen, one thing that I've noticed, okay, since now we're transitioning to the panda thing, one thing that I have noticed is that in spite of all the political harumphing that we're hearing here and there, and it's always somebody from a sponsor club. No, not always. Oh, it's always somebody who's somebody's friend. No, not always. But one thing that's been very consistent with that DJ of the Year award, it's somebody deserving. There's been no schlubs. There's been nobody who you can go and watch them work, listen to them work, and go, how the fuck did this guy win DJ of the Year? This guy's a putz. This guy sounds like Gilbert Godfrey on Quaaludes. Yeah, all right, coming to you.
That might be interesting. Yeah, I love Godfrey. As a matter of fact, Gilbert Godfrey just recently did an ad for Cannibal Kids.
Gilbert's doing ads. He's got a website where you can get him to do a.
It's Cameo.
It's Cameo.
It's Cameo.
Yeah, but is he doing a full blown ad for you guys?
If you check it out, he did an ad for Cannibal Kids latest. But let me quickly finish that the trip to Pittsburgh was about. We'd go to these games. They weren't division games for the most part. And I said to the guys, let's go to a game that has impact. So we picked Baltimore at Pittsburgh, October 6th. Oof. That's a ball game. And already Peter King has written up it's one of the games of the year.
It's going to be a little cooler out.
Yes, it'll be great weather, and it'll be a field goal will determine that game. So I love going every year to meet up with the guys I played football with. I played on a defense that gave up 1 touchdown in 9 games.
Oof.
We were great. The guy behind me who would slap me on the right or left side of my ass for a stunt went to Iowa State and played football. Mark, who lined up over center, was a 4-year starter in college. I played with some great football players. Out of the 11 guys that started on defense, I might have been the 10th or 11th best on that team. We had some great football players.
But you were playing, and that's what counted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let me tell you, it's been nothing. I mean, that's the most fun of my life is playing football. I mean,
I'll bet.
Okay, maybe sex, and then playing football, and then maybe playing music, what little knowledge and ability I have playing music, and DJing for an intimate crowd where everybody's into the music and dancing. That's pretty cool. I mean, it really is, because the parties I've done and the weddings I've done and the birthday parties that I've done, and that's pretty cool stuff. But you feel like you're entertaining people.
Well, I go far back as
and
when
sex was great, but playing football was a lot of fun. Did I mention sex? Sex was great. It's been
Understood.
so long. It's been so long.
I've been DJing in the business since 1980, but I go way back, even to like when I was in junior high. I was student council president way back when I was a kid.
Oh, you're one of those kids.
No, not
back
really.
in Iowa.
Correct. But the best thing was when we'd put on dances, I was also the DJ. And I knew when to put on Stairway to Heaven, because I always wanted to get the dance with Luann Sullivan, who I had let's say a crush on at the time. So there's a great advantage to being the DJ for several reasons. And so the slow dance part of it, when you're growing up as a kid and you're, 13 years old, there was a great... I'm very glad that I got into being a DJ in my life.
Yes, kid DJs, young DJs are usually the first kids. They start DJing 13, 14, and then they're usually the first kids in the peer group to get laid. It's as simple as that.
I've had a good time.
Yeah, you did okay.
I did. I've done good.
Good for young GB.
Well, even me, and at this point in time, I'm
in Iowa.
Right. Even now, being where I'm at now in my life, I'm happy with. If there were people out there, guys, that could change places with me. Let's face it, when you're in adult entertainment your whole life,
yeah,
I've had some great opportunities.
Right.
I'm sure there'd be a lot of guys that would gladly have been in my shoes for some of those opportunities. And I see them come into where I work, or through the years, guys that come in that it's a whole different ballgame when you're working on this side of the microphone than when you're a customer.
Right. Well, some of the stand-up material that I've written that I will eventually get my 5 minutes together. One of them is that I tell people what I do. Yes, I am a strip club DJ. I've been a strip club DJ for 24 years. I have seen it all. I have done it all. Trust me, you don't want to do some of the stuff I did. Learn from my lesson, kids. Drugs are bad. Stay in school. What was I talking about again? Oh, drugs are bad. Yeah. I mean, and being a strip club DJ, people immediately, especially guys, are like, oh, it's such a cool job. You have the best job in the world. I'm like, it's a really cool job. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I wouldn't trade the last 24 years for anything. I wouldn't trade the 5 years before that when I was booking bands and DJing in rock bars. Wouldn't trade that for anything. That was a lot of fun too. It wasn't necessarily rock star life, but at various points during my DJ career there, I've had the rock star thing going on. Still managed to keep my head on my shoulders, relatively. Shut up. Stop laughing out there. I can see you laughing. You got to look right in the camera and tell them to shut up. But people automatically, especially guys, assume that it's the greatest job in the world. It's a really cool job. It's a great job. At times it can be a really, really great job. But it takes a lot. Even handling, not just the skill of doing the job, but even handling all the peripheral stuff that comes with the job. The women.
Gonzo, people like you and me have been doing this for so long.
Money at you,
we make it look easier than it is.
Right. Well, yeah, nobody throws hot women and drugs and money at us.
For someone who thinks that we just push buttons, they're incorrect. There's a lot more that goes into our vocation than we're given credit for. I'll be the first one to tell you. When I see people saying things like that, it just shows their ignorance. Not stupidity, but their ignorance. They just don't know.
Well, and part of it's born of jealousy, because usually we see, I'm not going to say what members of the staff we see that talk that smack, but there is a legendary story about a fellow Pompano legend who was catching a little bit of salt from his manager, and he stepped out of the DJ booth and said, go ahead. Go right ahead. Here you go.
Right.
Do my job.
Right. Good luck.
I'm a monkey that pushes buttons. Do my job.
Right. Exactly.
Now you got to be careful because you tell that to a millennial kid who is a weekend amateur DJ who's probably got virtual DJ at home or on his computer, and be like, all right, let me get that for you. Boom, 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 boom. He makes a song list. But he can't do this. He can't do this. He can't make it heard. He can't coordinate the rotation. He doesn't know which girls like what, which girls don't want to dance with this girl, which girls dance to this kind of music, what type of music, even though you play a lot of EDM now. Still, you play EDM and pop music. Some girls don't like to, listen to, Jaws and Dimitri Vegas and stuff like that. I'm throwing around EDM names. That's right. Calvin Harris, for those of you soccer moms out there that like to listen to go, woo. So there's a lot more to it. I mean, the same way that there's a lot more to being a floor guy, there's a lot more to being a manager. I personally, I could not deal with these people that our floor guys deal with. I could not deal with the people that our managers deal with or our bartenders deal with. I can't. I just can't. I'm happy to be in my box.
I don't like it when the DJ booth gets crowded.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not my cup
crowded
of tea.
and crowded is more than one other person in the damn booth. More than one other person. And my booth is like a small walk-in closet. So, and I know you have a large booth. You can get like 5-6 people in your booth.
It's way too many. It's like just don't
get off
operate
my
as
back.
well with right.
It's ridiculous. Let's go hang out in the DJ booth. No, let's not go hang out in the DJ booth.
You mentioned you
that?
booked bands before you used to book.
Yeah, when I worked for Super Sports out in Lauderhill. I worked for the Infield Pub, the Infield Pub 2. I worked for New York, which was then renamed Rock Solid.
Well, if anybody's listening out there, you mentioned Cannibal Kids before. They're on my label, Shaymax Records.
Right.
And we've got a gig coming up at the Bitter End in New York on July 18th.
The legendary Bitter End.
It is the legendary.
It is.
This
Ramones,
gig,
Talking Heads.
Bob Dylan. It is. When I first told the kids, they were like, we don't. I go, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't know? This is the Bitter End.
Tell them Blink-182 and Green Day. How about that?
Let me tell you, there's a big difference between being a child of the 60s and young people today. It's a whole different world. Just as it was for people in the 60s that said, what are these kids listening to, and thinking that the Beatles were the devil's music. And meanwhile, the Beatles are playing stuff like "If I Fell" and "I Love Her,"
right?
Or "Till
but
There Was
these
You."
Kids, here, let me superimpose that ad for you. Meanwhile, these kids, while they look like they're having a really good time, I definitely wouldn't consider them to be the devil.
No, not at all. But quite frankly, if they were the devil and had sold their souls, that'd be okay with me as well, because I want them to be successful. I want them to be happy. It's not easy getting up to the next rung on the ladder, which leads me to somebody out there that's in the music biz. Talk to me, because these kids deserve to get a good break. Listen, I don't have Warner Brothers connections and things like that. I do what I do. I see a band that looks like they have talent,
right?
And I don't want to say I mold them, but I take them and work with them, if you will. I guide, and the boys that are playing in Cannibal Kids today are not the kids that I first met. Well, they are the same kids, but they've learned so much. And for me, the joy that I get is watching them progress. And I've got to see them get to the next rung on the ladder. Hopefully there's somebody in New York that comes out to the show and sees them. Nothing short of somebody like Jimmy Fallon's talent coordinator, or someone of that ilk. I would love nothing more than for that to happen for them. They're good kids. And
I can tell you by just my brief introduction to the quality of the music. They write their own stuff, by the way.
Of course.
The quality of the music, it is on par, and even in some cases superior to a lot of the stuff I'm hearing on like The Shark, and I'm hearing on Sirius XM, which is they bring the most, the newest and most modern stuff, and I mean we're talking power punk personality.
They're considered in the top few bands in Florida right now.
Right.
I would say they are the number one band in Florida. I just can't wait to see them play in Greenwich Village in a couple weeks. I am so psyched about getting up there. First of all, I was born in New York City,
right?
So for them to go up there and for us to, I'm looking forward to the post show in the Village with Cannibal Kids. That's going to be a blast. So you're all invited.
So you sound like a proud uncle is what you sound like. You sound like somebody you're like, I can't wait to take the kids up there. Really show them Greenwich. Show them New York.
I've come close before on having the Label TV show.
Right.
Missed it by that much.
Right.
And there's still people that go on Facebook and I get these every day. There seems like somebody looks at the Label and says they like it. And that show would have been terrific. That was then, this is now.
Yeah, misses happen, man. Listen, you're swinging, and a miss is going to happen every once in a while.
You got to get back on that horse.
Oh, yeah.
You got to ride, baby. You got to ride.
Why do you think I'm here?
Gotcha.
Why do you think why do you think I'm still whacking away at this? Because I'm not going to stop.
Speaking of wacky, how about you said something about politics?
Yeah, well, it's not so much. It's not so much about politics. It's much. There's a little something that we do. We do every week, and it's one of our segments. It's called RUFKM, which we all know is the acronym for the phrase "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Are you fucking kidding me?
RUFKM? Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, this ought to be interesting. It really should, because it involves somebody who I promised over and over and over again that I would not harp on this dude, and that I would not continue to flog this dead and dying horse, but it's an undead horse, and that is El Presidente. El Presidente, Donald John Trump. But it's not necessarily about him. It's about a cartoonist that lost his job for this cartoon, which I am superimposing right now. And I wish I had him on it, but it's a cartoon of Donald Trump playing golf, coming upon the floating bodies of the Guatemalan refugee father and daughter, and it simply says, "Do you mind if I play through?" And kind of savage. And that guy got himself fired. That was in New Brunswick, Canada, by the way. And
we reap what we sow.
Right. Well, you reap what you sow, but it was such a hot button
He's
cartoon.
a hot button president.
Well, yeah, everything's hot button.
He's more so than any president in my lifetime. And
you've been through a few.
And I have been through a few. This isn't my time to be bashing on Trump. The problem for me right now is we are just so against each other in this. You see it on Facebook all the time. You see people that are overzealous to the right. And
overzealous to the left, too.
And overzealous to the left.
Because it's a reaction.
It's the divide that annoys me more than anything. And I'm not a Trump guy. I didn't vote for him. Are there good things that have happened since he's taken office? I see a guy who took Charlottesville and said that there's good people on both sides. And I don't believe that. I just think that we need better leadership in this country. He's not my guy.
Well, and I can't disagree with you. The only disagreement I would have is that so far I'm kind of a metrics guy. The math, show me the money, show me where it goes, show me how it is. I say follow the money when it comes to politics. The thing that disturbs me is the team mentality. It's the team mentality. It's the team R, the team D, the team conservative, the team liberal. It's like you guys do know we're all Americans, right? We're all on the same team.
But there seems to be something lost in the translation, and there's such a divide.
Everybody wants
horrible.
their way. That's what it is. Everybody wants it their way.
It's listen, I'm willing to compromise whatever it takes for us to be a better country. The thing with the guns,
yeah.
There's this crazy thing that I remember seeing Obama's going to take your guns, and
How'd that work out?
well, it just nonsensical. Listen, I understand the right to bear arms.
Yeah.
I just don't understand having military weaponry that just can kill so many people in a split second. There's no reason for that. I don't want to hear target practice and this other nonsense. You want to go hunting, go hunting. You don't need an AR-15 to go hunting.
Right. Well, case in point. Okay, case in point. I grew up. My father was an avid hunter. I grew up around hunting. I realized that I could hunt if the shit goes down. I'll get out in the Everglades and shoot a deer. I know how it's done. It's gross. It's nasty. I prefer not to. And you know why I don't hunt? Because Publix is fucking 4 blocks away. I can go to Publix. I don't have to hunt to eat. It's a good skill that I know I can do. I can hunt. I can fish. I'm good. You can't get potato salad in the Everglades. I like potato salad. It's at Publix. What did I tell you?
Well,
but as a matter of survival, I can do it. I have those skills. I've been shown, and even though it's been 40 years since I've had the opportunity to do it, I know if I had to do it, it could be done. And I get it hunting for sport. But real hunters, they're not carrying an AR. They're not carrying a Kalashnikov. Real hunters have scopes, and they have long-range weapons, okay? Not like a lunatic like Ted Nugent who sneaks up on something and tries to stab it or goes bow hunting or whatever. Yeah, man, I'm going bow hunting. Boom, boom, boom. Eventually one day we're going to hear about Ted getting gored by something like an elk or something because he's crazy Ted and he's like 74, so he's going to end up going out there and getting stabbed.
It's not just the weaponry, Gonzo, that gets me. It's the way that elections are held right now with the interference from Russia. We're in trouble here in this country on voting results. It's so easy. Right.
Well, it's electronic
you can hack
interference
into our voting system. It doesn't take long. We really need to get on top of that. This is a democracy, and I love this country. I would die for this country.
Sure.
And it's unfortunate that we are not making the most important issues of the day, like climate change. That's another thing I disagree with our president on. There is climate change. It is not a hoax.
Race. We are a suicidal species, I'll tell you that.
Well, not all of us. There are people that do agree that there is climate change. The fact that we're not doing anything about it or very little is absolutely insane.
Well, what we're going to do is in the future, we're going to subsist off of mushrooms. We're going to have
what kind of mushrooms?
We're going to have nutrition bars that are from ground up mushrooms and synthetic foods, and it's going to be dystopia, and we might actually need like respirators to walk outside. And just think of all the dystopian societies that you've seen in all of these movies. Let's say Demolition Man. Okay, something like that. It's all very possible, and what's really, really sick, weird, and sad is that we're seeing it. And do you ever watch Roland Emmerich movies?
No.
Disaster movies? Roland Emmerich, he likes like The Day After Tomorrow.
Okay.
And Roland Emmerich, big disaster movies.
I know who he is.
Okay? The politicians I see that are climate change deniers are just like the villains in those movies.
Yeah.
The villain politicians in those movies.
Yeah, they're portrayed that way.
It's inconclusive. It's a Chinese hoax. Like, whatever. Okay, sure. It's your grandkids, Grandpa, that are going to end up living in they're going to be golfing and they're going to be fine. They're going to be living in a nice neighborhood. No. A pollution will make it to your golf course.
Do we have anyone that's going to call in and ask questions of you and me?
No call-ins.
That's
why I have this open.
Oh, you have
now.
that there. Okay.
I have the chat room open right now.
I wanted to ask you because before we went on the air, I had mentioned to you that it would be surprising to you who my favorite concert was, and you never told me who your favorite show was.
Are you changing the subject?
I am. What was your? I want to try and get as much in as possible.
My favorite show. My favorite live, I will say my favorite live rock show would be Van Halen with Bachman Turner Overdrive opening for them at the
Who was the lead singer?
The Hollywood Sportatorium.
Oh, so we're going back to David Lee Roth.
Right. Oh, no, actually, back up. No, not David Lee Roth. It was at the Miami Arena. It was the second show on the 5150 tour with Sammy Hagar. And
Your
they
favorite
had
show ever, huh?
It was, yes. And the overall experience, because the opening act, I had never heard an opening act get a standing ovation and call for an encore. And BTO tore the Miami Arena to the ground. Okay? That we're talking veterans. We're talking veterans with hits.
Randy Bachman should be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Sure, all day, every day.
The Guess Who is a band. Burton Cummings.
He should
one
be
of the
there for
best
two
voices
bands,
ever.
exactly.
You know, how those guys aren't in is ridiculous. The best show I ever saw, I was once in your club and I mentioned to you Tool,
Right.
and I mispronounced the name of the album, Enema, and you
Right.
had straightened me out. I think that might have been the first time you and I had ever met. But Tool is the best show I ever saw.
Right.
And that was the early 2000s, out when it was National Car Rental, BB&T.
Okay.
And the show was absolutely magnificent.
I may have been at that show. But
Great show.
Was Maynard behind the backdrop screen? And it was
He
nothing
on
but a
side
silhouette.
angle.
Right,
Yes.
side angle silhouette.
He didn't move for the first three songs.
Right.
It was brilliant.
Right.
Brilliant.
Musically brilliant, yeah. I was a little perplexed because other than the laser show and the hologram shows that they had in the background, the various lighting effects that they had in the background, I was still waiting for my lead singer to come out and get to the edge of the stage and put a foot up on the monitor and scream into the crowd and and yell and sweat.
But that's not Maynard. Maynard, and that reminds me of when I leave shows, and like when I left Neil Young's show, and he did the Greendale up in West Palm Beach, and it was 2.5 hours of new music from Neil. And the girl was just complaining. He didn't do all of his hits and this. When you come to see Neil Young, when you come to see Bob Dylan, these guys do what they want to do. Now, I've had this argument before. Listen, you pay to see that artist. For those of you that come to see the hit show, those guys, you got to do your homework. They're not there to just play hits.
Go
They're
see
gonna
ELO.
which I plan on doing next Tuesday. I look forward to that show.
Yes, and
you're going to hear a lot of hits that night.
Yeah, my manager Brett and one of the guys I work with, Bill, they are twisting my arm. Go!
You should go.
You should go.
Then, you won't see it again.
Now you too. It's like a cult.
You won't see it again. So what are these 7 questions, deadly sins you
We'll
had?
do the 7 deadly questions after we take a quick break.
Oh, we're taking a break.
We're going to take a quick break.
Let's do it.
Because I like taking breaks. Because I'm lazy. Well, I managed to upload. We're all going to find out if the commercial it actually rendered well. So we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back with the 7 deadly questions more with Gerry Baumann right after this on the Gonzo Radio Show.
Is there an answer for Sunday? You know that I'm always halfway on the line, 'cause I know you're more than just a dime. And it would be nice if I could get a text message on time, so I don't have to feel this way, like I'm always stuck in a game. And where is your head? 'Cause you know that my patience running thin when I could just love you the way that I'm supposed to. But where is your mind? 'Cause I know that it's been wasting my time when I could just love you like I'm supposed to. If all the stupid little things could add and make my heart sweet, then I know if you would be there for me. Been feeling one-sided lately. My friends are there for my safety, but I don't know, is it really me or should I go? And your skin so so soft, but we know that it doesn't really matter at all. If I just overcompensate, we can always change the day. Where is your head? 'Cause you know that my patience running thin when I could just love you the way that I'm supposed to. But where is your mind? 'Cause I know that it's been wasting my time when I could just love you like I'm supposed to. If all the stupid little things could only make my heart sweet, and I know if you would be
Gonzo Radio.
Welcome back to the Gonzo Radio Show. For those of you out there in South Florida, for those of you around the nation, for those of you tuning in from New Jersey, I hear, welcome to the show, and thank you once again for tuning in. My extra special guest, South Florida legend. You have so many credits, I can't even go over them all. Music producer, DJ. You were even a bit of a rock star yourself. You had a fantastic band that, I hear it was a fantastic band, but we never really got to see them, or at least I never got to see them, and that was Ordinary Language. We have grainy black and white photos of you and Ordinary Language. Now, how did you manage to get the band to be in black and white, but the table in the foreground looks like it's brown?
What I love is
that's trickery. It's magic.
It is magic. What I love is me wearing the Zubaz pants with
the round sunglasses.
It's just unbelievable. It's
and so much hair.
Well, do I miss my hair sometimes?
I don't.
I
don't.
really do. Now, as a
You
matter
got
of
good
fact,
hair. You got good hair for 104.
let me tell you, it was down the middle of my back, and there's one day it will happen again. Not now, but I'm glad you asked me about Ordinary Language. We're currently remixing, and we are taking our recordings. We're going to release them again. Unfortunately, Kevin's not with us anymore, but this is the 30-year anniversary coming up next month of our first show that we ever did. We recorded at Criteria, legendary Criteria in Miami.
Hey, if you're going to stare at your phone, move it over in front of the camera.
Well, actually, I was just looking at the picture of me with the Zubaz.
It looked good.
And it's bizarre.
It looks good.
The Criteria recordings back then didn't have Pro Tools, so I took the tapes down, the original masters, down to Trevor at Criteria, asked him if he could drop them down into Pro Tools, did so. Cut, who is our brilliant engineer.
I think we've already said that. We've covered that. He is a brilliant engineer.
He's great. He also is the producer of the latest Cannibal Kids offering. We're remixing, and hopefully we're going to be releasing something. We will be releasing something this year. Rat Bastard. I don't know if you know Rat Bastard, but he is also. We had some ADAT tapes that we didn't have the machinery here. Rat Bastard, he's a legend in South Florida.
Yeah, I'm drawing. I'm not drawing a blank on. I know who. I think I know exactly.
He's in
who
Europe
Rat
right
Bastard
now
is.
touring.
Yeah,
when he gets back,
I know exactly who he is, though.
Good guy. As a matter of fact, when the kids, Cannibal Kids, did Churchill's for their last gig, he was doing sound.
And that's exactly who I'm associating him with is Churchill's. Too.
Yeah, dig that.
Well, I know that guy.
He goes way back with Kevin McIver, who I mentioned is no longer with us, who was the guitar player with Ordinary Language.
Well, he goes way back with Bobby Tack in the Cichlids, too.
As a matter of fact, the Bobs are the best band to ever come out of this town.
Right on.
Ever. And that was Roop, Tack, and McIver. Matter of fact, I trained Tack, and Tack worked at the Cheetah with me in the early days, in the early 80s, back in the Jay Hickman, Mother Tom days.
Oh
yeah.
Can I tell you, I snuck in to see Jay Hickman when I was 17 years old.
Jay was amazing.
In 1982.
He was amazing.
I snuck into the Cheetah 3.
Yeah.
And I saw for like 20, 25 minutes till finally somebody gave me, hey, kid, how old are you? You got ID? And I was like, nope, gotta go, bye.
He called me his Ed McMahon back in the days when he was Jay Hickman was hysterical.
No, Ed McMahon, motherfucker.
He was just great. And so anyway, getting back to fast forwarding to Ordinary Language,
Right.
We're actually hoping to do some live performances as well. So hopefully that's going to happen before the end of the year. I'm thrilled with the sound of these new recordings. They sound great. Old recordings with a new twist.
Right.
New mix.
Well, of course, you need to let us know where that is going to happen and when that is going to happen.
Looking forward to it.
And just don't do it on a Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday night.
We'll try and make it where we can get as many people squeezed into a room.
A really small room, but a really big band.
We'll take it.
And you have agreement now. You've only had one member of the band pass away.
Yeah, Iggy and David.
Two.
No. Iggy is still alive and well. We're all alive and well.
Oh, go. Okay.
Unfortunately, we lost Kevin about 2 years ago now. But in some ways, by playing this music, it keeps his music alive. I always wanted him to do solo work and get out there. He just never really wanted to be a solo performer.
Yeah, some people can't put it all out there like that because you're bearing your soul as a solo performer.
No question. But sometime, hopefully this year, we've already spoken to a guitar player who we hope can play the guitar parts, and we're looking forward to getting out there, Iggy, David, and myself, and doing an Ordinary Language show sometime this year.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited about it.
Make sure we know.
Will do.
Well, I'll push it to my, I don't know, dozens of viewers. I mean, we have a really good local reach, though. But we also reach up to Tennessee, and now obviously New Jersey. Welcome, New Jersey. Okay, well that is awesome, and I wanted to get that in because now it's going to start to get a little thick. Now it's going to start to get a little dicey. We might even get a little personal. Okay, because I'm going to hit you with a little something that's called the 7 Deadly Questions. Okay, so here's how the 7 deadly questions go. I'm going to ask you 7 questions that are all based on the 7 deadly sins.
Okay.
Suddenly I've got a southern accent.
Let's do it.
Now, the 7 deadly sins being lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. All right? No, so we'll start off with lust. Okay? If you could sleep with anybody, I'll even go so far as say man, woman, living, dead, celebrity, historical figure, imaginary figure, who would it be?
Gilbert Gottfried.
Gilbert Gottfried. That's awesome. I really like that. Jerry's got a huge cock.
So we're talking they don't living or dead.
Living or
just
dead.
Any time.
Historical figure, Madame Curie,
Wow.
Helen Keller, if you're into weird shit like that.
Wow. I would have to say I'll go with the living right now. I love Kate Beckinsale.
Ooh, fine choice. Fine choice. I change mine every time I do this. I change an answer in my head every time. We go through Scarlett Johansson, we go through Charlize Theron and all of that. And as I think about these women through history, and I think Sophia Loren is like the sexiest woman in the history of cinema.
Great choice.
Okay, and I'm thinking to myself, wow, Sophia Loren in like 1968. One of those
Great
deals.
Stuff.
Yeah, it's food for thought, but I really love Kate Beckinsale. She has been pretty much great in everything.
I love her.
She was the only good thing about the movie Pearl Harbor. She really was. I mean, she was, and she's a fucking hot goth vampire. Really. And
Underworld?
an action star.
She's terrific.
Yeah, she's terrific. All right, so on to number 2. Gluttony. We're big dudes. You're a big dude. I'm a big dude. What is it that you just love to, sit on the couch and shovel into your face?
I like the sugar-free popsicles.
Sugar-free popsicles.
And sometimes the grape ice or lemon ice, I could do those if we're talking about gluttony, because they're like 15 calories or 60 calories. And, and we are big guys. The old days, I could tell you they were fudge cookies or this and that, but I can't do that anymore. So I eat the ices.
Cookies are savage, though. Cookies are hard because cookies are sugar, and cookies are no longer just cookies. They got stuff. Special stuff. They got double stuff even.
Yeah, I like that. But the Keebler fudge cookies of the 60s, I miss those.
Yeah.
So there's my gluttony.
There's your gluttony. All right, moving on to number 3, greed.
Yeah.
Okay. People are avaricious. There's at least one thing that people like to, even little old ladies, those old church ladies, they like to collect stuff. People are hoarders. They really are. What is it that you have to have? What is that thing that you have to have? I mean, besides money, what are you greedy about? What do you want to have all of, all the time?
I'm actually the exact opposite of that. Money has never been the most important thing in my life.
Besides money.
Ever.
Everybody could say money, but...
Music.
Music.
I have to have music.
Gotta have it.
I have to.
Let me ask you, your non-professional music collection. I mean, I've seen your hard drive. Your non-professional musical, how many gigs of music would you dare to guess you possess? Aha! I got a good one. I finally got a
20 terabytes.
20
maybe,
terabytes
between my vinyl and my CDs.
What's the vinyl collection up to now?
Well, the kind of it slowed down when CDs became the story of the day. And then,
do you have a walk-in closet full of vinyl?
I don't, but I have a walk-in apartment that's just filled with music. It's great.
That's awesome.
That's
great.
I love it. I still have all of my Beatle records, albums from the 60s.
Now, you started DJing on vinyl, right?
Actually, no. When I first started working at the Cheetah in 1980, they had cassette decks.
Oh, my God. So you lived in headphones.
I did.
You
had to work quickly.
Yeah. When I had a cassette deck, I lived in headphones. I actually had to bring. I brought an extra boombox in because one of the cassette decks got a little gimpy. And I brought it because they didn't demagnetize it. I'm like, you have to demagnetize the shit. And so I brought an extra boom. And sure enough, the night I brought the extra boombox in with the twin cassette players, the one side of the cassette deck took a shit.
I didn't work with albums a lot. I did at the Dollhouse in Pompano.
Yeah.
There I did, but even when I had the opportunity to work with that, I worked more with CDs then than I did in vinyl.
Yeah, I felt fortunate. I felt fortunate to start during the CD era, or actually after CDs had already kind of worked the bugs out. And CDs were starting to advance in technology with CDRs, CDRWs.
Right.
I really stocked up on those.
Right.
I literally had the old CD. I got one of the CD burners.
Mm-hmm. So did I.
$700, the Pioneer CD burner, and I had a stack of shelves next to my chair, my easy chair, and I put that sucker on there. Why? Because I'm working. I'm burning everything. I'm making compilations. It was awesome.
I loved it.
Yeah, so music. Okay, now on to number 4, sloth. Also another byproduct of being a large dude is that sometimes we can just get sedentary. We can just chill.
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it, instead of just chilling, what is it that you want to get away from? What is it, a chore that you would not want to engage in?
What wouldn't I want to engage in?
A chore or a task.
Well, it's
what do you like to get out of?
Well, actually, after 4 nights of work, I find myself the first day I'm very quiet, and I think what I'm doing is I'm physically balancing my life from going to there's that, but it's not even so much the music as much it is me and how much I perform. And make no mistake about it, as an MC in a nightclub, you are a performer. And as much as we speak and talk to the audience, it is a performance. And I find myself the first day off where I'm actually very quiet. And so that's what happens to me. I get very quiet the first day off from work. It balances me out.
Well, what's really funny is one of my precursors, another guy. Besides the fact that I've snuck into the Cheetah and listened to you and stole some of your material, but DJ Dano, whom I know you know, he's also a Pompano legend. He's the guy that actually encouraged me to get into the business. He told me because he caught me in the parking lot one time, and I'm like, "What do you listen to on your way home?" And he goes, "Nothing." I go, "What do you mean nothing?" Because I'd get in the car and pop the CD in and, listen to some Pantera or something like that. Just shit that I'm not able to play at work. I mean, even outlaw country, I love outlaw country. Country music is a lot of fun to me. And outlaw country, especially from the 70s, 80s, hilarious. So I was like, wow, this was actually on the radio. You didn't really understand it back then. But I just listen to anything that I don't play at work. And Dano listens to nothing.
Yeah, I don't know if you
Zero.
know this. He had a little health scare yesterday. He did not come into work last night, or he was at work and had to leave early. So I'm sending you love, Dan, and I want you to get well very quickly.
Dano had a health scare yesterday?
Yeah, we can talk about it after. I just wanted to send some love to him right now. He's okay. I spoke to him on the way over to the show. I spoke to him. He's okay.
He must have pulled a muscle or something. Hungover.
We'll talk about it after the
from
show.
His birthday weekend. He's got a hot young girlfriend, so I'm going to say he threw his back out.
Let's go with that.
Okay, we'll go with that. He threw his back out. Walk it off. All right. So on to number 5. Mm-hmm. Wrath. Who pisses you off? Who would you like to just punch in the face? Just free walk up and just clank them one. Maybe call them a scumbag and spit on their face.
I guess I'm going to have to leave this in the past because they're not alive anymore.
Dish.
I really, it's not worth bringing up. And
Come
actually,
on, be petty. This is the era of petty.
And here's the thing also. I don't want to be violent with anybody. When I was younger,
right,
I was too violent.
Okay.
And it wasn't good for me in my life.
Right.
And I'm glad that I'm not that person anymore. But as far as
you and me both,
or as far as me wanting to yell at somebody as opposed to punching them in the mouth, I really don't have any physical animosity towards anybody at this point. I'd rather use words.
Okay, well, who would you like to cuss out then?
They're dead now.
They're dead now.
I would, yeah. There's nobody right now that I'm angry with.
Oh.
Nah.
Sociopath. Are you crazy? Nobody makes you nobody makes you mad.
Yes. Yeah, sure. People make me mad. But it's better for me to go to the next question.
Next question.
I'm trying to be diplomatic.
You're going. Okay, so what you're doing is you're going Kevin Durant press conference. You're going. Next question.
It works for him. I only wish I had a fraction of his money.
Right. You know who I am. I'm Kevin Durant. That's who I am.
Yeah. Nobody knows who I am.
Nobody knows who I am. All right. So moving on to number 6, envy. Life swap. Who is it that you would love to trade lives with?
Nobody.
Get out of here.
I've never, ever wanted to be anybody else but me in my life.
Benicio del
that might
Toro?
be a boring answer, but I just, would I like to be a successful musician? Absolutely. Did I ever want to be John Lennon? No. Who happens to be the most influential person in my entire life. But
Right.
I've never wanted to be him.
Oh. Well, aren't you fancy?
Well, no, not at all. But John Lennon was more influential in my life than my mother, my father, my football coaches, my teachers. And actually, it wasn't even close.
I want to be Leonardo DiCaprio.
No, I get it. Go for it,
For
baby.
like a day, because
Even an hour.
from what I understand, it's pretty tiring to be Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
Good for him.
it's like, so yeah, let me get like a couple 3 hours of Leo, and then I'm gonna go home and take a nap.
Dig that.
Yeah.
I've always
Sleep it off.
I come with a lot of foibles. I come with a lot of successes and failures.
Oh,
But I'm me, and I'm glad to be
yeah,
me.
never be afraid to fail. Failures are just stuff that happens along the way. Successes are the stuff that goes right. Simple as that. All right, number 7, pride. What is it that you're most proud of?
That I'm really damn good at my job.
Fucking A. Fucking okay, and that outstanding. Who's going to be the DJ of the year?
Well, I'm going to put a vote in for Binger.
Bing. Bing, bing, bing.
I'm somewhat. I don't understand how some of the names get onto these lists. There's people like Tim Rhodes who.
Well, there's an open nomination process. Okay, and from what I've seen, some of these guys that win it, they don't necessarily care to win it again.
Okay, well,
they don't care to win it. Which is beautiful because it goes against the stereotype.
My
stripper with a dick, So
well, I've been called that.
like that.
I've been called that.
Right.
My dear friend Luke won a Lifetime Achievement Award. People like Tim Rhodes should have received that a long time ago. Somebody like Platypus, who when I would see Platypus did so much for DJs. Not unionizing, but in essence, trying to bring DJs together and giving DJs a platform to speak from. He did a hell of a job on it. Those kind of guys should receive awards for what they have given to the industry.
In spite of the salty DJs that you hear on the side that are sniping about how it's not inclusive and it's not this and it's not that, and it's like you got to see the bigger picture, though. I mean, I understand where they're coming from. Okay, because this used to be a gunslinger mentality type of a job. Okay, we didn't used to be buddies with more than 2 or 3 other DJs, and they worked at other clubs. They were somebody that we knew outside the club because it wouldn't be somebody coming after our job. Well, we had that gunslinger mentality, but it's good that he's helping to help us transition into a more, how can I say, cooperative effort.
Okay.
He's creating a more cooperative environment for us, which is great. I definitely believe in it.
I went to school with a lot of people who are doctors and lawyers. Right. As a matter of fact, I organized a get-together with the kids I went to school with from 1st through 6th grade way back in the 60s.
Right.
And I pulled it off somehow, some way, and we showed up at a hotel a couple months ago. And it was just absolutely... It was amazing. So you have doctors, lawyers, and one adult entertainment DJ.
Yeah, I love it.
And I love that too.
Yeah, I love it. You're the exotic guy. I've been the exotic guy too. I've been to various reunions, and you have a lot of blue collar, and you have a lot of professional, and then you have this one weirdo who's wearing a flame shirt, a black shirt with flames coming up, and sunglasses indoors at night, and it's like, hey, what's going on? And you get a little stereotypical, unintentionally stereotypical, but it is who we are. It is what we are. I mean, look at you. You got a dragon on your shirt.
Makes the world go round.
Yes, you are. Gunslinging dragon shogun.
Well, it's great. We're not the Borg. We are
not the Borg.
We are. That's what makes the world go round. I love people. I love people's differences. I just wish that we didn't have such a divide in our nation that takes us that far apart. We could be more civil to each other.
I'll tell you what it is. It's the poison of social media. It's the poison of social media because let's remember, my friend, myself being in my early to mid 50s, I grew up at a time when people tended to keep their opinions to themselves, only to bring it out at certain times, like in times of protest, in times of injustice, but not right after you're done drinking coffee and eating your oatmeal, not while you're sitting on the toilet taking a shit, not while you're in traffic, not while you're sitting at the Starbucks, not while you're sitting at work while Karen's not watching. Oh, that bitch. I mean, it's constant, and it's really giving us a sense of entitlement to tell everybody, and my opinion is valid. Yes, your opinion's valid, but we don't have to live by it. We don't have to live strictly by it. There's got to be some give or take. That's why it's called a democratic society. Society based in the word social. Social media, yeah, no, social society. Which means that if GB likes to have, he likes to have fish sticks on Friday, okay? But I hate fish sticks on Friday. But you know what? We'll have fish sticks every other Friday. How about that? Is that good for you?
That works.
Fish sticks works good for you? Okay, and then on your fish stick day, we'll have tartar sauce, and then the other fish stick day, we'll have maybe some salsa.
But not when I come over to watch a football game with you.
No.
I look forward to being in the same room with you discussing football because I know you know your stuff. It's great when I get together with my guys and we do our annual trek.
Right.
Those guys know their football.
Oh no, we're going to bring you. I'm going to bring you on
good.
the sports desk show. So we do a sports desk show. We have our own. It's Gonzo Radio Sports Desk. We do it every
Outstanding.
Sunday at
Looking
6.
forward to that already.
We are going to be moving the start time up to 11 a.m. But you're off Saturday nights, so
we'll see about getting early.
Drag you in.
To all my friends who tuned in, thanks for tuning in. Big D in Jersey. I see you sent some notes here. Gonzo, thank you for having me on.
Well, no, thanks for being on.
My pleasure.
What are the notes? I want to know what the notes are.
Well, they were just like talking about, he knew that I was going to say Tool was my favorite show. Donnie is someone who I can talk to about music. We went to school together in the 60s. And,
right on.
He knows his music. He and I can have conversations that, I turned him on to Radiohead. He turned me on to Love. There's...
Radiohead.
Yeah.
Radiohead. I can't get into Radiohead. I just can't. As hard as I try, I can't get into Radiohead.
And you're entitled. And again, that's what makes the world go round. But music is the elixir of life.
Right. And it's kind of weird that you're into Tool and Radiohead.
I love all kinds of music.
So do I. I'm all over the place. Like I said, I love outlaw country. I love speed metal.
You could turn me on to some music. Before I get out of here, I could turn you on to some recordings. Matter of fact, why don't we do that? I'll give you 5 different songs or names of groups. Listen to them, and then you give me 5, and then we'll report back to each other. You tell me what you like or don't like.
Deal.
Done.
All right. Well, I'm going to say my thank yous and get us out of here.
Okay.
So once again, any more thank yous you'd like to say to anybody else? And when is that Cannibal Kids video going to drop?
Well, that's a very good question. As a matter of fact, we're talking to some people right now. As a matter of fact, a student at UM is going to work with us. The kids really want to work with them. I had someone else in mind.
Good.
But that probably is going to take effect when I get back from New York after the show at the bitter end.
All right. Well, and we need to see some Instagrams and go lives of them at that show. That way we can all get a look at it. Push.
Terrific idea.
I'm sure the kids have already got it down. So
yeah, they do. They're great on social media.
It's us old farts that can't seem to keep up. I mean, it's crazy. All righty. Well, GB, thank you so much for being on. Gerry Baumann, GB, our guest here at the Gonzo Radio Show. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for watching tonight and listening to me ramble back and forth with my friend over and over about multiple subjects. Hopefully nobody got any neck injuries from the changes of direction, because we had a lot of stuff that we wanted to talk about, and I've got to get him out of here because he's got to go on with the rest of his evening. And we've been jibber-jabbering for a good hour and 15 minutes, so I loved it. Make sure you catch us on the Instagrams. That's at Gonzo Radio Show, at Gonzo Radio Sports Desk, and then, of course, over on Facebook on the Gonzo Radio group and fan page. Join and like. And, of course, right here on YouTube, subscribe. I think the subscribe button's like right over here. It's just push subscribe. And that way you can keep up with things, because I tend to drop little tidbits during the week too, along with the regular stuff. So on behalf of myself and Mr. Baumann here, thank you very, very much for watching. I'm Big Daddy Gonzo, and I've got the show around here somewhere. There it is. All right, see you guys next week.
For Gonzo Radio, this is Super Time 6000 2015 for Gonzo Television Station. You're coming to the greater Sandusky, Ohio area. This is Pirate Bill, and this is Frank Welker saying, watch Transformers.